What up, kids? My name is Logan. Today on another episode of State of the Tribe, a pretty rough episode. Um, just got our butts kicked by Florida on Saturday. And, that was, but you know what? I'm okay with that because I said exactly what was going to happen. We would give up less points than last year, and we'd score more points than last year. That's exactly what happened. And a lot of Florida fans, and especially Florida fans, they've got on me. They insulted me. Almost every single Florida fan told me that, I'm an idiot and that I talked trash about Florida. Let me make the record straight. I did not say any insult. I did not talk trash about the University of Florida. At all. I did not. If I ever said Florida State was going to beat Florida this year, I said it in a joking manner. Do people really think that I believed Florida State would beat Florida? No. And yet I still get texts by so many Florida fans saying, "Oh, you're wrong. You trash talked us, and you're disrespectful." That's what people said. But out of anything, and I've said this, Florida fans are one of the more pretentious fan bases in the country. And also, Florida is one of the most predictable teams in the country. I said this at the beginning of August. I said Florida is going to go 10-2 this year. They're going to lose to LSU and lose to Georgia. And that's exactly what happened. And you know what? I'm making my prediction for next year for the University of Florida. They're going to go 11-1. They're still going to lose to LSU, but they'll beat Georgia. They'll go to the SEC championship game, and they'll lose. That's the Florida way. And then people, they talk down on me saying that, no, Florida, we're going to beat Georgia. Didn't happen. You guys said at the beginning of the year, you'd beat Georgia. You'd go win your division. That did not happen. You said you guys are going to go to the SEC championship. That did not happen. Florida fans said that Florida will win the SEC this year. This was in the beginning. And I would have said, heck no, because you still had to face either LSU or most likely, but by the beginning of the season, Tua Tagovailoa, those receivers in Alabama. But because of injuries and Joe Burrow allowed to throw the ball, that did not happen. And a lot of people ask me on why do I, talk down on Florida. I don't talk down. I just predict it. I just make my predictions, and I'm usually right on them. I said Florida State beginning of the year. Yeah, we're going to be about 6-6 or 8-4. More realistically, 6-6 or 7-5. 8-4 if we win every game and lose to Virginia or Boise State, Clemson, Miami, Florida, and that's and we lost 6 games this year. And I say that Florida is going to win the division next year, and that is mostly because Georgia's going to have Mr. Inconsistency, Carson Beck, as their starting quarterback, most likely. And if you know me, you know I hate Carson Beck, and Carson Beck hates me. But when it comes down to it, you watch Mandarin at Bartram Trail, and that's a glimpse of the future against him, against Carson Beck, against Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Florida. When they have those great defenses, Carson Beck will struggle because Georgia is not getting as many weapons as other schools are, hence why they're struggling. They wasted their window to win a national championship, to finally beat Alabama, and they couldn't do it. Now, Kirby Smart, great coach and all, but he's not going to turn around. They're in a very tough position with the SEC West and a Florida team that is just being as good as last year. And they'll be the same next year. But enough about the SEC. It's all about the ACC. And Florida State, I'm just happy to say we're a basketball school. That's it. I'm happy that we're good at something relevant. And that happens to be college basketball for both men's and women's. But going back to the real sport, football, I'm going to talk about the coaching situation. Odell Haggins will not be the head coach next year. There's just no way. I said if Florida State would beat Florida, Odell Haggins would be the head coach. That did not happen. We lost by 23, which was 4 points less than last year when we lost to Florida. So I'm telling you all, to all Florida State fans, we are Memphis fans for the rest of the season. And I say that because I want Mike Norvell. Because he's able to get the 60th best draft class, 70th, 80th, and have this team compete in the American Conference. The American Conference has a lot of talent. It's probably the best it's best it has ever been. With a talented Cincinnati team, a talented Memphis, a pretty good USCF team, a pretty good Navy, a pretty good SMU team. The American Conference is strong. And I throw in the argument that the American Conference is better than the ACC. I believe many of the top, teams in the American Conference could beat the top teams in the ACC outside of Clemson. That simple. I'm cheering for Memphis to win the American Conference Championship because we've seen this before. We saw PJ Fleck did this for the MAC Championship with Western Michigan. He left to Minnesota. Scott Frost, he won with UCF, went undefeated, of course, and then he left to Nebraska, and he's doing worse than Taggart right now. Shocker. And Heupel last year broke the trend, but then again, he's not really that guy yet. He's not at that level where he can go to a bigger program. He's a great coach. I respect Heupel, but he's just not there yet. So Mike Norvell is the closest thing to it. So I'm cheering for Memphis to win the American Conference Championship and then maybe beat Florida or Georgia in the Cotton Bowl so that Mike Norvell can say, okay, I gave this program as much as I can. I gave them everything they needed. There's nothing left for me to prove here. I'm going to head down to Tallahassee. I'm going to rebuild this football team. And I've been saying a lot about Matt Campbell, but there's something about Mike Norvell these recent weeks when I actually started watching Memphis play. And Memphis they look like the Florida State teams of the past. Just having an explosive offense and a good defense to sustain wins. They look like Florida State back in the day, but against, worse teams with less talent. Matt Campbell, he does all right. He's built up Iowa State. I think he loves there. I don't think he's going to leave. And if he does leave, he'll most likely go to Michigan State if they fired Antoni, but I don't think they will. He's a Midwestern guy, so I think he'll just stay in the Midwest. So it's all on Mike Norvell. That is my number one option now. But Matt Campbell's a really good number two. And this is a tough part. Florida State's in trouble next year. Whoever the new head coach, you're going to inherit a mess. That Florida State game defined Florida State's season as undisciplined, not caring about the game. People thought Florida State, they'll do something. This team's going to rally together rivalry week. If the fans aren't interested, the Florida State fans were not interested this year to beat the University of Florida. And you think that the team cares about that game. They didn't. So with the new coach, you're going to come in and you're going to have a lot of trouble, talent-wise. Quarterback situation is going to be between Blackman, Travis, and Jeff Sims, and maybe Derek King if he decides to transfer. And we don't know. He's been pretty much radio silent on that topic. Speaking of transfers, Felipe Franks, he's leaving Florida. A lot of Florida fans thought he'd be the next one, but no, he's going to leave. I don't know where he's going to go, and I personally really don't care. He's a system quarterback. He works with Florida. He's going to go somewhere else, and he's not going to do too well. So, Florida State, the bowl projections, they're so weird. They're so all over the place. I've seen Birmingham Bowl projections. I've seen Independence Bowl projections. I don't think we're going to have that. I believe Florida State will most likely go to the Quick Lane Bowl. And I saw a prediction that they'd play Iowa in the Quick Lane Bowl. I think Iowa's too good for the Quick Lane Bowl. I'd see them in the Holiday Bowl. Or not Holiday Bowl, like Red Box, something out west. Or maybe even the Gator Bowl. They'd play against Tennessee or Mississippi State. Most likely Tennessee. So I'd rather have Florida State go to the Quick Lane Bowl, where we will play either a 6-6 Illinois team or a 6-6 Michigan State team. I think we have a better chance on playing Illinois than Michigan State. That's just my opinion. And I'd rather play in the Quick Lane Bowl than the Pinstripe Bowl, because the Pinstripe Bowl, it's going to be cold. It's going to be like 15 degrees out by that time. That's not Florida weather, so we'd lose that game. And I've talked about I wanted Gator Bowl or Belk Bowl or Music City Bowl, but the ACC had a really, really weird way to finish the season, where a bunch of teams that Florida State beat are now bowl eligible, or they have a better record than Florida State. So even Florida State beating them, it doesn't really matter. We're not going to get a better bowl game than them. So it's all up for discussion. We'll find out in 6 days from now. Today it is the 2nd of December, 2019. And on December 8th, we'll find out where we are going for a bowl game. And hopefully this week, we have our head coach. Hopefully after Saturday, we should have our new head coach by around next Saturday. I can't wait for it anymore. They said they'd get a guy by November. Nothing. Anything. We've lost a lot of candidates, a lot of recruits. Since they said, we're finding a new head coach by the end of November. It is December 2nd, and it looks like we're not going to get a new head coach for at least 2 weeks. It's just tough to watch Florida State. It was the worst team out of me or my three brothers, whoever cheered for any team in college football. That was the worst team. It was terrible this year. It's going to get even worse because there's a lot of talent leaving. Akers will be gone. Marvin Wilson will be gone. You got Tamarian Terry. He'll be gone. O-line, if we had any seniors for how crappy they are, they're gone. We're going to have even more crappier young guys. And also a message to the new head coach. Focus on O-line. We can get the talent. We can get the skill guys with our name alone. But we need a better job looking for the O-line. You win in the trenches. Look at Big Ten teams. Every Big Ten team, they prioritize O-line. Because a lot of teams like Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, they know they can get the talent, the skill guys. So they focus more efforts on O-linemen and D-linemen. Iowa does that a lot. Wisconsin is the best at it. Take a page out of Wisconsin's book, Florida State, because they know how to build an O-line and a linebacker core. You prioritize those things. And trust me, it'll pay dividends. Well, and since there's been nothing going on, it's been pretty quiet. I'm gonna head off. It's another episode of State of the Tribe. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later.